a wave of shock and concern has swept through the BTS ARMY community after the Day 1 Soundcheck in Baltimore was canceled amid dangerous weather conditions. Thousands of fans had already made their way toward M&T Bank Stadium when severe thunderstorms and a tornado warning suddenly changed the atmosphere. Reports from fans at the venue said crowds were moved indoors for safety, while the soundcheck was ultimately canceled. What had been expected to be an exciting afternoon before BTS's highly anticipated concert quickly became a tense situation. Fans described heavy rain, thunder, and severe weather around the stadium, with some saying they were already inside or sheltering in the concourse. The National Weather Service warning was issued after radar detected rotation within a severe thunderstorm moving across the Baltimore area. As news of the cancellation spread, many ARMY members began expressing concern not only about the concert schedule, but also about the safety of everyone who had traveled to the stadium. Some fans had waited for hours for the special soundcheck experience, only to see the plans disrupted by weather that was beyond anyone's control. For many, the disappointment became secondary to one simple hope: that everyone would remain safe. The emotional atmosphere also sparked speculation among fans about how Taehyung and Jungkook might have reacted behind the scenes. There is currently no verified report confirming that either member cried over the situation, but fans could understandably imagine how difficult it might feel for the members to know that ARMY had traveled from different places and were already gathered at the stadium while dangerous weather moved through the area. For Taehyung and Jungkook, who are known for their close connection with fans, the thought of ARMY standing outside in extreme weather could naturally become an emotional concern. Fans have been imagining what it would be like for the members to hear that people had been caught in heavy rain and thunderstorms simply because they wanted to see BTS. Yet these emotional interpretations should remain speculation unless the members themselves confirm what they were feeling. The biggest question now became whether the main concert could continue safely after the weather disruption. Reports indicated that the tornado warning later expired, although severe thunderstorm risks remained in the region. Fans were therefore left watching every update, hoping the storm would pass and that BTS could eventually take the stage without putting anyone at risk. What was supposed to be a joyful Day 1 celebration in Baltimore had suddenly turned into an unforgettable moment of uncertainty. The canceled soundcheck was heartbreaking for many fans, but the situation also highlighted something more important than any performance: the safety of ARMY, BTS, and everyone working at the stadium. And as fans waited for the next update, one emotional question remained in the air: could the night still end with BTS finally stepping onto the Baltimore stage? The atmosphere around the stadium reportedly changed in an instant. What had started as an exciting day filled with anticipation for BTS's Day 1 soundcheck suddenly became tense as severe weather moved into the Baltimore area. Fans who had been eagerly waiting for the members were instead confronted with dark skies, heavy rain, thunder, and growing concerns about their safety. The sound of thunder and flashes of lightning added an entirely different feeling to the atmosphere. Instead of counting down the moments until BTS appeared on stage, ARMY were left watching the weather and waiting for the next safety update. The excitement that had filled the area was replaced by uncertainty as fans realized that the storm was becoming a serious threat. For many fans, the most frightening part was knowing that they had already traveled to the stadium and were preparing for an unforgettable BTS experience. Some had spent hours planning their outfits, carrying banners, preparing cameras, and waiting for the soundcheck. But suddenly, none of those preparations mattered as much as finding a safe place away from the dangerous weather. The cancellation of the soundcheck only intensified the emotional shock. Fans had been expecting to see BTS up close before the main concert, but instead, they were dealing with a situation nobody had anticipated. Questions began circulating among ARMY. Would the storm pass soon? Would the main concert still happen? And most importantly, would everyone inside and around the stadium be able to remain safe? For a community that had gathered to celebrate BTS, The sudden weather emergency created an unforgettable contrast between excitement and fear. The stadium was supposed to be filled with cheers for the members, but the immediate priority became protecting thousands of people from the storm. And as ARMY waited anxiously for another update, the biggest question remained unanswered. Could the night in Baltimore still become the celebration everyone had been waiting for? Just moments before the weather became a serious concern, the atmosphere surrounding the BTS Baltimore event was filled with excitement. ARMY had been looking forward to seeing the members, capturing memorable photos, meeting fellow fans, and preparing for the highly anticipated Soundcheck. The energy was supposed to be one of celebration, anticipation, and pure happiness. Fans could have been checking their cameras, adjusting their outfits, holding up BTS banners, and imagining the moment the members would finally appear in front of them. For many ARMY, getting to experience a BTS soundcheck is already a special memory. The anticipation of seeing the members before the main concert can make every minute of waiting feel worthwhile. But then, the mood began to change as the weather deteriorated. Dark clouds, heavy rain, thunder, and lightning transformed what should have been an exciting pre-concert experience into a situation filled with uncertainty. The smiles and excitement surrounding the event were suddenly overshadowed by questions about whether it was safe to remain outside. The emotional contrast was especially striking. One moment, fans were thinking about songs, performances, and the possibility of seeing BTS up close. The next, their attention had shifted toward the sky and the latest weather warnings. The dream of enjoying a special soundcheck moment was suddenly replaced by the much more urgent need to find shelter and stay safe. That sudden shift made the cancellation feel even more heartbreaking for ARMY. They had come expecting music, memories, and an unforgettable BTS experience, only to face a powerful storm that nobody could control. And as fans waited for further information, one feeling appeared to connect everyone. They desperately wanted the weather to clear so that the night could somehow return to the celebration they had been waiting for. Amid the sudden weather crisis in Baltimore, fans could only imagine what might have been going through Taehyung and Jungkook's minds. Knowing that thousands of ARMY had traveled to the stadium with excitement, only to suddenly face dangerous weather conditions, could have been an incredibly emotional situation for the members. Yet there has been no verified confirmation that either Taehyung or Jungkook cried or publicly reacted in that way. For Taehyung and Jungkook, the thought of ARMY being exposed to heavy rain, lightning, and severe thunderstorms could naturally feel heartbreaking. Fans often describe the members as deeply appreciative of the people who travel long distances just to see BTS, making the situation even more emotional to imagine. The members may have wanted nothing more than for everyone to stay safe while waiting for the storm to pass. Jungkook, in particular, has repeatedly shown how meaningful the connection between BTS and ARMY is to fans. Taehyung has also shared countless moments that demonstrate how much he values the people who support him and the group. Because of that connection, fans could only wonder whether the difficult circumstances in Baltimore might have weighed emotionally on the members behind the scenes. The most painful thought for ARMY may have been imagining BTS preparing for their performance while fans were simultaneously dealing with dangerous weather outside. Instead of hearing cheers and preparing for soundcheck, the members could have been wondering whether everyone had found shelter and whether the situation was improving. It is this possibility, not a confirmed reaction, that has made the moment feel particularly emotional for fans. Ultimately, the most important concern remains the safety of everyone involved. Fans may dream of seeing Taehyung, Jungkook, and the rest of BTS on stage, but no performance is more important than protecting ARMY from dangerous conditions. And perhaps that is what makes this situation so emotional. Behind the excitement of a massive concert are thousands of fans and 7 members who, above everything else, simply want everyone to make it through the night safely.